Yo, 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 what is going on, IK Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today I'm back again giving you some quality goodness here in the IK universe. All right, today before we get started, we're going to be talking about a few things. As always, make sure if you enjoy the content, you sub, like, ring the notification bell, and if you want to join and be a part of our conversation, hit up the Discord link. You can find that in the pinned comment and description below. Okay. So today I really just wanted to kind of touch on a few things, along with briefly touching on the 2.1 update that they recently announced is going to be dropping on May 19th. That's in 8 days from hopefully when this video is uploaded. And I just want to say this right out the gate. 2.1 for me, and I'm sure for others, depending on how many, is literally going to be the make or break update, right? Like, you either got to show us that we're going to be trying to retrend ourselves and re-head back in a good direction, or it's just going to continue down the path that we're continuing. And at least that way, right, the good thing about that is at least we will know. We will know whether or not there is a level of care for the community when it comes to taking into consideration what many have been alluding to on their fears, their cautions, their suspicions, their hopes for wanting to continue what I think is an amazing kingdom builder and a game in and of itself. However, speaking candidly and respectfully, ever since 1.7, the game has just been trending downwards when it comes to engagement, when it comes to features, when it comes to just healthy morale within the gaming community, especially when you consider the active players that you usually are seeing communicating, in-game on Discord. Those are the people that are, of course, going to be more engaged than the average player, and typically the community that can be the most invigorating, right? That can really help spread good news. The communicators, if you will. Now, what I will say is, even though I'm excited to see specifically what is going to be included in 2.1, what the hope here is that because 2.1 is the first update that's come out after the meeting, right, or the second update, I should say specifically, after the developer meeting that we had, we already knew that the first update for 2.0 was not necessarily going to be able to include some things that we discussed in the meeting, right? The expectation was not really there, that it was going to be 100%. However, now that we are going into 2.1, this is it, right? To me, the developers have to show us something. There has to be something in there that shows that the developer meeting was valuable, that it was worth something. Because in the meeting, and let me just say this, we gave a lot of great stuff. Right now, I don't know how usual other meetings go, but the things that we provided as a collective for the representatives were things that literally either need to be addressed and touched on, or are levels of modifications or things that they can address to say, hey, yeah, maybe we'll include some of these things, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I think there's a big difference when we are providing, quality feedback where it's like, look, this just makes sense. And we really hit the hammer on the head here. And then you have the other types where it's like, oh, I just want to see this in, I want to see that, or, they need to put this in if they want to fix the game. No, I mean, there are appropriate ways to go about explaining those things to a developer. And I'm going to be honest, when I look at the things that we talked about in the meeting, they made sense. It wasn't just random ideas out there that we were just flinging off the top of our heads. I mean, these were well thought out features, ideas, examples that were provided, things that are happening in the community. So that's why I feel that when it comes to the quality rating of the feedback and what the representatives discussed, myself included as one of them, it was great. I really felt that it was great stuff. And that's why my hope at the moment is more or less at an all-time high, because it was just that good. And, again, even for those that, re-listened or rewatched my audio transcript, I mean, it was one of those things where I wanted to try and give as much information about it as possible. And my hope is that I'll be able to keep and restart putting out more consistent content. However, I will probably be changing up some of the type of content that I focus on, just because, again, until something changes in the game, I'm just not really going to be playing that much, is my assumption. My expectation, however, is that maybe I will be able to start playing again. But for me, it's a lot different. For me, just being an average player somewhere, that's not really it. That's not what I enjoy. I enjoy the management aspect, the building of kingdoms, the building of communities, the engagement, the working together with leaders and officers, your management team, other players in the kingdom. Right? I love the whole trials and tribulations. That, for me, is what gets me to wake up every day and play and love kingdom builders, just within this genre, let alone Infinity Kingdom. So, unless I see a game that is kind of trending in, a good direction, don't get me wrong, right? There's other kingdom builders I've played, and I have my qualms about those as well, with, what they have in the games or not, for as far as what they include. However, with when I look at Infinity Kingdom and just the general trending direction it's going in from the recent updates, that to me is just disheartening. It hurts. And I want to see the game succeed. I want to see it do well. And it's rough. It's one of those things where, like, when moments like these happen, you start going around and thinking to yourself, man, what else is out there on the market? Realistically. And again, my hope here is that we see something good from 2.1. There can be some level of reinvigoration, remotivation to play. Do I expect that to happen? I don't, unfortunately, but I hope it will, right? And that is a little bit of my belief when it comes to waiting to see what's going to be included. And like I said, it doesn't mean that, there's a lot of players that still play the game. And I think that there is still useful and relevant content that can be put out and distributed for the player base. However, when it comes to certain specific types of pieces of content that I will limit myself on, just because I may or may not be playing as much as, or as engaged as I was before, where you would maybe see more kind of in or home kingdom related content, that may not necessarily be happening as much, right? Unless some things change and I feel the passion again, based on me liking the direction that they hopefully may be going in from 2.1. So we'll see on how that plays out. With that being said, there's obviously some stuff that has been happening on the IK Discord. Someone ended up telling me that Jez left and then got banned. I do feel bad about that. I know I mentioned this before. I ran into a similar situation with a video I had put out recently, or not recently, but back in the day. And I think it was the IK Love video I had mentioned. And, dev team reached out to me and basically just said, hey, would you mind taking the video down? We just don't want to spread bug information. Don't get me wrong, I understood why they were asking. However, I would have rather kept the video up. And I did for a little while, just because there was a delay in the communications. But it is something that did rub me a little bit of the wrong way, because there was nothing that I shared in the video that said, hey, here's exactly how to do this bug. Here's what it is. Here's what you need to know. It was more of just commenting on the situation as it was happening, and more so being a good historical reference point for people that play the game and want to enjoy what the game's history is about, right? I think that is important just as much as any other type of content we may cover. So for me, again, even though I felt let down a little bit, if not a decent amount, by the dev team for what that happened, I've had plenty of good experiences with them for my time being here as a creator. But that, to me, I think was something that could be improved. And I think looking at things on a case-by-case basis where, we don't necessarily want to start running into the realm of kind of limiting or restricting free speech, especially if it is not, directly negative, or if it's not something that, literally is someone just being mean or being, using derogatory language, or again, just being spiteful, right, in any kind of negative variation that we may be able to say. So, that's pretty much it for me. I just wanted to touch on that a bit and kind of give a little bit of what my hopes are coming up for 2.1, and hoping here that I'll be able to start putting some content. I know people are probably, I get some DMs and people keep asking me when I'm going to put out the KVK2 group videos, even though, KVK3, even though it's already started. The hope is that will be soon. And with that being said, that is it for me. As always, I hope you guys enjoy the content, my thoughts, hearing me touch or talk about anything related is always the hope for why we might end up getting some of the return viewers. But that is it. Until next time, as always, I will catch y'all later.